Hello everyone and welcome to That Football Podcast, your weekly dose of everything football. I'm your host as always, Massimo Shalashevsky, and today we've got a very interesting episode, podcast episode 9. Now, these are going to be my Premier League predictions and European Cup competition predictions. Now, let's just say this is going to be an interesting one because I've gone some bold statements and some bold predictions. So get ready, guys. So let's just go into it. So firstly, we have got last year's predictions. Obviously, it will be right here shown to you. Now, I got a few correct, as you can see. Mohamed Salah with Player of the Year, and also Chelsea winning the Conference League, but that was pretty easy. You know, like Chelsea were really like the only dominant team in that competition. So now we're on to season 25/26 predictions. Now we are going for the Premier League table predictions, going from the bottom to the top, and going for my relegated 3. Now, I've gone for Burnley 20th, 19th Wolves, and 18th Sunderland. Now, I do think one of the promoted teams from the Championship to the Prem this year will stay up. I'm thinking Sunderland, not really Burnley. I can't really see them. Like, they've only got like really Carl Walker in their side that is actually half decent that I really know of. So I really am going to count them out. They're going to probably finish last. Going for a bold statement, I think Wolves are going to get relegated. I don't know why. I'm just going to go something out of the ordinary, but I think Wolves are second last place, and Sunderland, the last relegated side. Now, I do not think they can compete in this Premier League this year with all these players, and obviously the gap between the EFL Championship and the Premier League. So I'm getting them relegated, but I'm going Leeds to stay up. Now, the reasoning I'm doing behind this is because I think that Leeds, they have more experience in the Prem. It might have been like a few years ago, but Sunderland, they haven't been in the Prem in 6 years, I don't know, because they went from the Prem all the way down to League One. It was, I watched the documentary Sunderland Till I Die. Shout out to that documentary. It's a bloody good documentary, but it shows behind the scenes of Sunderland, and I don't really think they can compete in the Prem 1 year after staying up, so I get them relegated. So we're going to go for 17th Leeds, 16th Everton, then Fulham, Brighton, Brentford, West Ham, and Palace. Obviously Palace did really good last season with their FA Cup win, and also won in the Community Shield against Liverpool. But I'm putting them mid-table. You don't really know, but I'm just going to put them mid-table just to be safe. Now, going for the top 10. So 10th, Bournemouth. This is where it gets pretty bold. 9th, Spurs. Then Man United. Then, get ready, Forest, Newcastle, and Villa. Now, I do not think that Manchester United will get top 4. Obviously, they placed 15th last season. Not really that good from them. It was probably one of the worst Manchester United seasons that in my lifetime I have seen. But, and I think Spurs are going to have a stinker this season. I just don't think Thomas Frank's really up for the job. But, we'll see. But that's my predictions. Now, going for top 4. Now, I've gone for 4th place, Chelsea. 3rd, Man City. 2nd, this is the real one here. 2nd, Liverpool, and champions going to be Arsenal, my club. I do believe it is this year. Okay, you might say I'm biased because I'm an Arsenal supporter, but I generally do think this is Arteta's season. If it's not, I think he has to get the sack unless he gets one other trophy. But we have this absolute gold squad now with Victor Gyökeres, and it is pretty much complete. So he has no excuses not to win the Prem, but also Liverpool and Man City. Now, those squads, that squad depth, and also Chelsea as well, ridiculous. If Alejandro Garnacho ends up going to Chelsea, this could be, maybe Chelsea champions or City or Liverpool champions, so you don't know. But my Premier League predictions are going for Arsenal as champions. Now, obviously, with top four going to be Champions League spots, but this year we have got that fifth allocated spot because of last season. It was awarded to us because of Arsenal, my club's good performance in the quarterfinal and their win over Real Madrid. That's why we got that fifth spot. So this season, fifth spot from last season goes to the champs. But also, do not forget, so fifth place. So I've gone for Aston Villa. If English clubs do well in European competitions this year, in my predictions go well, Aston Villa will go to the Champions League. But if not, then obviously fifth and sixth will go to the Europa League, and seventh to the Conference League. Now onto the individual awards. So I'm going for Golden Boot, Erling Haaland. You know, he's probably the favourite. I mean, there's not really anyone else like, maybe Salah again, maybe Cole Palmer, I don't know, but really, probably has to be a striker, and I think it's probably Haaland's year. He's probably going to go like top 3 anyway. You know, he did really, really good last season, but fell off like towards the end. That's why Salah won it. But going for Golden Boot, Erling Haaland, Player of the Year now. This is very bold because last year I got it correct with Mohamed Salah, and I'm thinking Cole Palmer, even though he had a slope and drop off towards the end of last season, even though he did win that Club World Cup and the Conference League and did performed really, really well. I love him as a player. But Cole Palmer, I believe, is going to be Player of the Year. Now, that is a bit debatable. Maybe you can let us know in the comments who do you think these awards should go to. But yeah, going Cole Palmer. So, Manager of the Year. So, obviously, with my predictions, I've got Arsenal, my club, to win the Premier League. So, obviously, you just have to go Mikel Arteta as my Manager of the Year. First manager gets sacked. Now, I did not get this last season. Obviously, it was Erik ten Hag from Manchester United. I said the Bournemouth manager. But this year, I do believe I've got it basically spot on, or at least close. So, it's either going to be Brentford coach or the Burnley coach. Because if you look at the first 10 fixtures for both clubs, ridiculous. Let's actually go through those because so I've got it here. So the first 10 fixtures for Brentford and for Burnley. So for Brentford, including all competitions by the way, including the EFL Cup. So they've got Forest, Villa, Bournemouth, Sunderland, Chelsea, Fulham, United, City, West Ham, and then Liverpool. That is some tough competition. Now onto Burnley. They've got Spurs, Sunderland, Derby, United, Liverpool, Forest, City, Villa, Leeds, and Wolves. Now, I think Brentford probably have the harder first run of games, but they both play City, both play Liverpool, and both play United, so could go either way, you know. But I'm going, in this stage, I'm going for the Brentford coach, Keith Andrews, to be the first manager this season to be sacked. Now, signing of the season, this one is extremely hard. You've got so many good players coming to the Premier this season. You know, Cherki, Ekitike, Verts, Kirkes, Frimpong. I mean, Kirkes was ready at, he was ready at Bournemouth in the Prem, but obviously Victor Gyökeres. So, signing of the season, probably just going to go Ekitike. I think he's got a ball out. I mean, you saw his worth in that Community Shield final when he scored, obviously on his proper debut for Liverpool, not including friendlies. But yeah. I'm going for Ekitike. I think he's just going to ball out this season, maybe score 16, 17 goals, maybe 18 all competitions. But yeah, I'm going bold with Ekitike. Now, onto the domestic competitions. Now, the FA Cup. So bear in mind that the last 3 finals actually have featured Manchester City. But I'm not going Manchester City as the winners. I'm going Chelsea. But I do believe that it will be a Chelsea-Man City final. And, it's... well, most likely it's going to be a Prem team. It's always a Prem team that wins it, or at least basically in the final. But did you know, actually, that the last 7-8 years, Manchester City have really been in those finals for the FA Cup. They're just really consistent in the FA Cup. So make sure to look out for Manchester City. Also, it's basically just squad depth. It's a squad depth competition. Whoever has more squad depth, who performs better, who actually wants to try in the FA Cup, really, that's a competition. But I'm going for Chelsea. So actually, fun facts for the FA Cup. We should actually be doing these more often, every single episode, fun facts. So you guys learn, I learn, everybody learns, and all that. So obviously, did you know a non-Premier League side has never won the FA Cup? But sides outside of English top flight have won it before the rebrand of the English Premier League in 1992. Tottenham won it in 1901 when they were in the Southern League. How about that? When they were basically just created as a club, they won the FA Cup when they were in the Southern League. And West Ham's 1980 FA Cup win was the last time a team from outside the top division won the FA Cup, and unfortunately, it was a 1-0 win against Arsenal.
How you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it because they would never understand.
No words there. But it always has to be Arsenal. Every statistic, this is the thing, right? Every single statistic that I see on like Sky Sports or whatever it is, that like mentions a fun fact, it always has to include Arsenal. Like, oh, this team last win was against Arsenal. It's always Arsenal. How about that? Anyway, moving on to the Carabao Cup. Again, it's like basically the FA Cup, but like it's really just like what's the EFL Cup? It's really just for EFL teams. So there's less teams in it, and obviously it's Premier teams probably will win it. And I'm just going to probably leave Liverpool or City. So I'm just going to go for Man City, because I don't think they're going to go 2 seasons trophyless. There's no way, surely. But you know, it's really who tries, who wants to try, who actually puts out there like good squads or half decent squads, and who actually commits to competition is going to win it. So I think Man City. So now, on to the European competitions now. This is where it gets really, really crazy. But firstly, I'm just going to start with the Conference League. So really, I've looked at it. I don't even know really half the teams that are in there, where they're from. I mean, you've got Jagiellonia, really, from Poland, so my Polish club. But they're not going to win it, most likely. They did really well last season. They got semis, knocked out to Real Betis. But the only 2 teams I can really see, Shakhtar Donetsk and Anderlecht, because both of them, you know, recent years they've always played in the Champions League or like Europa League. Like, well, I'm probably just going to go for Shakhtar because, you know, they've got champs experience. Yeah, I remember every single year I used to watch the Champions League. It'd always be like Shakhtar Donetsk from Ukraine that are in the Champions League, so I'm just going to go for them. Now, the Europa League. Now, I'm going very bold here, and I'm going Aston Villa to win the Europa League. Now, you have to hear me out on this, because last season, they were really, really good in the Champions League, which is much harder. Also, do not forget, they got 8th last year in the group stage, but they also beat Club Brugge, Celtic, Bayern Munich, and Bologna, and got knocked out and lost to a UCL winning PSG side. That's how good they are. You know, they nearly took on PSG and beat them, but, you know, expect them to do really well in the Europa League. If they don't win it, expect them to do really well, obviously. Do not forget that the year before that, in the Conference League, they got knocked out in the semi-finals to the winners, Olympiacos. So, they have that European experience, and obviously, they have that Unai Emery. Do not forget Unai Emery and his experience. You know, he's basically Europa League merchant. You know, he's like the king of the competition, like the king of seconds, because basically, you know, Europa League's not as good as chance. But anyway, yeah, so dark horse, not really, but I'm going Aston Villa to win the Europa League this season. Now, this is the clickable bit. This is the finale, really, because UCL, UEFA Champions League. I'm going extremely bold here because, as they say, go bold or go home.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
Bayern Munich to win the Champions League this season. Now, I was thinking in my head, I'm thinking, you know, it could be Barcelona, could be Real Madrid, could be like Liverpool, like an English side. I don't think it's going to be like a French side. I don't think PSG can do it back to back. But, you know, you've looked at recent years, and it's very, very unpredictable to win. Years before that, you knew who would basically win the champ. You like Real Madrid, maybe like in Man United in their prime days, Liverpool in their prime days. But it's really, really unpredictable, like the last 5 years with the Champions League. So I'm just going absolutely bold, absolutely crazy, because no one would have picked PSG last year. So I'm just going Bayern Munich to win it. Really, there's no real like thought behind that. I mean, you look at last year, you know, Inter Milan. They got into the final. Barcelona did extremely good and they have a good side. So don't expect maybe like a Bayern Munich Barcelona final or something like that. But I'm going Bayern Munich. Now let us know in the comments your thoughts and your predictions Do not forget to subscribe, like, and also don't forget to check out in the description or in our channel bio that we have everything uploaded on Spotify every single week, the exact same video, so you can watch on Spotify, and also we have an X account. So click the link in the description. I'll see you guys later. Take care. I'll see you next week. Goodbye.